Listen well, children of the soil. In the village of Nyamataga, where the great baobab tree touches the sky with ancient fingers, there lived a maiden whose beauty could stop the wind itself. Her name was Anita, and she carried herself like a queen, though her father was but a simple potter. The village elders would shake their grey heads and whisper, "Beauty without wisdom is like honey in a cracked pot, sweet, but it will not last." But Anita heard only the songs of her own reflection in the river. Now, in this same village lived Zango, son of the blacksmith. His hands were strong from working iron, his heart gentle as morning rain. Since childhood, he had watched Anita from afar, his love growing deeper than roots of the ancient baobab. Each morning, Zango would leave wildflowers by her door. Each evening, he would repair her father's broken tools without asking for payment. When the rains failed, he shared his family's grain. When sickness came to her household, he brought medicine from the distant hills. But Anita? She barely noticed him, seeing only his soot-stained apron and calloused hands. "Why should I marry the blacksmith's son?" she would laugh at her friends. "I am meant for greater things than a life of smoke and hammers." Then came the season of the great market, when traders from far lands brought wonders to sell. Among them rode Atiku, dressed in silk that shimmered like serpent scales, his horse adorned with silver bells. He claimed to be a merchant prince from the golden kingdoms beyond the desert. His words flowed smooth as oil, his gifts sparkled like captured stars. The village maidens whispered his name like a prayer. But it was Anita who caught his eye, and she, oh, foolish girl, believed every honeyed word that dripped from his lips. "You are too beautiful for this dusty village," Atiku would whisper. "Come with me to my palace by the great river, where you will dress in gold and servants will fan you with peacock feathers." Zango watched with a heart heavy as stone. He saw how Atiku's eyes glittered as cold as a snake's when he thought no one was looking. He noticed how the stranger never helped anyone, never shared his food, never showed kindness except when Anita was watching. One evening, as Anita sat by the well, dreaming of her golden future, Zango approached with quiet steps. "Sister," he said gently, "beware the tree that bears beautiful fruit but has no roots. It will fall in the first strong wind." Anita turned on him with eyes blazing. "Are you jealous, blacksmith's son? Because a true man of wealth wants to marry me? Keep your village wisdom for village girls. I am destined for more than you could ever offer." Zango's heart cracked like dried earth, but still he tried. "I have watched you since we were children learning to walk. I have loved you through every season, through joy and sorrow alike. My love needs no golden palace to make it true." "Love?" Anita laughed, cruel as winter wind. "What is love without comfort? What good are your rough hands and simple heart? Atiku offers me the world. What can you give me but a life of poverty?" That night, Zango's mother found him sitting by the forge, staring into the dying coals. "My son," she said, settling her weathered hand on his shoulder, "the heart that loves truly is never wasted, even when that love is not returned." "But Mama, how can I watch her marry a man whose heart is carved from stone?" His mother smiled with the wisdom of many seasons. "The truth has a way of revealing itself, my child. Your love is like the iron you forge, it will endure long after false gold has tarnished away." When Atiku asked for Anita's hand, her father hesitated. Though dazzled by the stranger's wealth, something felt wrong, like the stillness before a storm. "My daughter," he said, "this man we barely know. Perhaps we should wait, learn more about his family, his true character." But Anita would hear none of it. "Father, he is rich beyond our dreams. We will never have such a chance again. The whole village will envy us." And so the engagement was announced. Atiku showered gifts upon the family, silk cloth, ivory bangles, a necklace of amber beads. The village celebrated with drums and dancing, though some of the elders whispered warnings that fell on deaf ears. Zango worked late that night, hammering iron with blows that echoed his breaking heart. As the wedding day approached, strange things began to happen. Village children reported seeing Atiku arguing with shadowy figures at the edge of town. His servants, lean men with shifty eyes, spoke in languages no one recognized. Old grandmother Kasai, whose sight reached beyond the visible world, pulled Anita aside one afternoon. "Child, I have seen darkness gathering around your chosen man. In my dreams, I see you weeping tears of blood. Please, reconsider this marriage." But Anita, drunk on dreams of golden palaces, dismissed the old woman as jealous and senile. She was too busy admiring her wedding dress, a creation of silk and silver that Atiku had commissioned from the finest weavers. Meanwhile, Zango continued his quiet vigil, praying to his ancestors for wisdom and strength. The wedding was set for the night of the full moon. All day, the village prepared, roasting goats, brewing palm wine, decorating the ceremonial hut with flowers and cowrie shells. Anita spent the day in ritual preparation, her body painted with intricate henna designs, her hair braided with golden threads. She had never felt more beautiful, more certain of her destiny. Zango, unable to bear watching the celebration, decided to visit his uncle in the next village. But as he prepared to leave, he saw something that froze his blood. Atiku speaking urgently with three rough men, passing them a bag that was clinked with silver. Hidden behind a granary, Zango heard fragments of their conversation. "The plan proceeds tonight. Once the ceremony is complete, she will bring a good price in the slave markets. The father's pottery business will be mine." Horror filled Zango's chest like icy water. Racing through the village, he burst into Anita's family compound just as the evening preparations reached their peak. "Stop this wedding," he shouted, pushing through the startled guests. "Atiku is not who he claims to be. He plans to sell Anita into slavery and steal your father's business." The crowd erupted in shocked murmurs, but Atiku stepped forward with smooth confidence. "My friends," he said, spreading his hands in apparent innocence, "see how this jealous young man creates lies to disrupt our happiness. It is natural, he has always desired what he cannot have." Anita's face twisted with fury. "How dare you, Zango? On my wedding day, you come with these wild stories? Guards! Remove this madman from our celebration." Despite Zango's warnings, the wedding proceeded. He was dragged away by Atiku's servants, though his eyes never left Anita's face, hoping she might see the truth in his desperate expression. As tradition demanded, the ceremony began at midnight. The bride and groom were led to the decorated hut while the village continued celebrating outside. Palm wine flowed freely, drums echoed across the valley, and songs of joy rose to the star-filled sky. Inside the wedding hut, Anita waited nervously for her new husband, her heart finally beginning to flutter with uncertainty. Something in Atiku's smile as they had been led away seemed different, colder, predatory. The celebration outside grew louder, masking any sounds that might come from within the sacred marriage chamber. When Atiku entered the hut, his entire demeanor had changed. Gone was the gentle lover, replaced by something that made Anita's blood turn to ice water. "So, my beautiful fool," he said, his voice now harsh as grinding stones, "did you really believe a merchant prince would marry a potter's daughter for love?" Anita pressed herself against the far wall of the hut. What do you mean?" Atiku's laugh was like the sound of breaking bones. "I mean, my dear wife, that you are now my property. Tomorrow, my associates will take you north to the slave markets where wealthy men pay handsomely for beautiful young wives." "No. You're lying. The whole village knows we're married. The whole village will be told you died of wedding night fever. Your grieving widower will inherit your father's successful pottery business and disappear before anyone grows suspicious." Terror gave Anita strength she never knew she possessed. She lunged for the door, but Atiku caught her wrist in an iron grip. "Scream all you want," he sneered. "The drums are loud, the wine is strong. No one will hear you above the celebration of your wedding." As they struggled, Anita's mind flashed to all the warnings she had ignored, Zango's concerned words, her father's hesitation, grandmother Keisai's prophetic dreams. How could she have been so blind? Outside, the celebration continued, unaware of the horror unfolding in the wedding chamber. But one person was not celebrating. Zango had broken. Zango had spent the evening tied up in Atiku's camp at the village edge, guarded by the slave trader's accomplices. But love gave him the strength of 10 men. Using a sharp stone, he had cut his bonds and crept back through the shadows. Now he crouched outside the wedding hut, hearing Anita's muffled cries and Atiku's cruel laughter. Without hesitation, he threw himself against the door, bursting into the chamber like an avenging spirit. "Release her, demon," he roared, raising the heavy hammer he had brought from his forge. Atiku spun around, a curved dagger gleaming in his hand. "The jealous blacksmith comes to play hero? You are too late, fool. She belongs to me now." What followed was a battle that shook the very walls of the hut, love against greed, truth against deception, humble strength against false power. The sounds of fighting finally penetrated the celebratory noise outside. Anita's father and the village elders burst into the hut to find Atiku on the ground, defeated, while Zango stood protective over the trembling bride. Through her tears, Anita revealed the horrible truth about her wedding night. Atiku's accomplices, hearing the commotion, had fled into the night with their master's gold, abandoning him to face the village's justice. As dawn broke over Nyamataga, the whole truth came out. Atiku was indeed a slave trader who used fake marriages to kidnap beautiful young women. Several other villages had lost daughters to his schemes. The false bridegroom was bound and taken away to face the judgment of the regional king, while his stolen wealth was distributed among his victims' families. As the village slowly absorbed the shock of that terrible night, Anita sat beneath the great baobab tree, her beautiful wedding dress torn and stained, her heart broken by her own foolishness. Zango approached slowly, carrying a bowl of cool water and a clean cloth for her tears. "I am such a fool," she whispered. "How could I have been so blind? You tried to warn me, tried to save me, and I called you a liar and a madman." Zango knelt beside her, his voice gentle as a mother's lullaby. "The heart that loves truly bears no grudges, Anita. I would face 1,000 dangers to keep you safe, whether you love me or not." For the first time, Anita truly saw Zango, not as the simple blacksmith's son, but as the man whose love had been steady as mountains, deep as rivers, faithful as the rising sun. In his eyes, she saw everything she had foolishly sought in golden trinkets and sweet lies. "Can you forgive me?" she asked. "There is nothing to forgive," he answered. "Love that is true needs no apology." 1 year later, when the season of the great market returned, the village of Nyamataga celebrated a different wedding. Anita, now wise in the ways of the heart, became the wife of Zango in a ceremony blessed by genuine joy. Their marriage was not adorned with silk and gold, but with something far more precious: trust, respect, and love proven through trials. As the village elder spoke the traditional blessings, he shared the lesson that would be remembered for generations. "Children of the earth, remember this truth: sweet words are like morning mist, beautiful but gone with the sunrise. True love is like the baobab tree, it grows slowly, weathering all storms, its roots deep in the soil of faithfulness. Judge not by glittering gifts or honeyed promises, but by actions that speak louder than words, by love that endures through both darkness and light." And so Anita learned what the wise women had always known, that the greatest treasure is not gold that can be stolen, but a heart that loves truly. Her wedding night with Zango was filled not with terror, but with the deep peace that comes when two souls unite in authentic love. The village still speaks of this tale when young people seek guidance in matters of the heart, remembering always that true love is proven not by what it promises, but by what it gives, not by what it claims, but by what it sacrifices, not by words that shimmer like false gold, but by deeds that endure like the eternal baobab. Listen well, and remember, the heart that chooses wisely will never walk in darkness.